Workflow webinar. In our presentation today, we're going to cover a number of topics. So we're going to try to move through these theme slides quickly. We'll start with an introduction. My name is Mike Radigan. I'll be your moderator. I'm the Vice President of Sales for DocPoint Solutions. We'll have Pete Smith, who's a Senior Developer and Architect with DocPoint Solutions, and Vadim Tabakman, who's a Nintex Technical Evangelist. We'll talk a little bit about the history of DocPoint Solutions, as well as we'll move into a demonstration of Nintex, a demonstration of Nintex by Pete, and then a demonstration of Nintex Forms by Vadim. Excuse me. Quality Associates is the parent company of DocPoint Solutions and provides good laboratory practices and clinical practices in the pharmaceutical space. Founded in 1986. In 1997, we founded the Information Services Division, which specialized in the conversion of documents and electronic media to electronic formats. And in 2008, we founded DocPoint Solutions to provide Microsoft Certified Technology Consulting. Thus the transition from Quality Associates to DocPoint Solutions. So the key to our approach to business at DocPoint Solutions is the needs analysis process. And that begins with understanding the as-is or the current business process for our customers, and then taking a look at the needs of those customers and then aligning the technology to meet the needs of the business users. It seems like a simple concept, but many organizations miss this point. I'm going to turn it over to Vadim now, who's going to talk a little bit about Nintex. Before I do that, just a brief overview and a summary. We want to thank everybody for joining us today, both our commercial and federal customers. We realize that many of you have Nintex, and some of you are considering the purchase of Nintex. So after Vadim does a brief introduction and an overview of Nintex, we'll move on to the demonstration with Pete Smith. Thank you. Vadim?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, hi, everyone. So the history of Nintex. Nintex was then sold by ISP in 1999. We've been developing SharePoint products since 2003. What we'll be looking at today is that Pete's demo of Nintex Workflow 2010. That's our third iteration of Nintex Workflow, and we recently released a full iteration which is Nintex Workflow 2013. We've been identified as the world's most widely adopted SharePoint add-on by two Forrester studies. And as you can see on the screen, we've got over 5 million live users, over 4,000 customers, 700 partners, and we're now in 90 countries.
Do I need to move this on? I need to control.
Now, we're going to be going through the Nintex Workflow webinar, and I'll be showing you the Nintex Forms. This form is a standalone product as well as an add-on to Nintex Workflow, and they are tightly integrated. So you can now build SharePoint list forms, you can build document and property forms, and you can also build task forms from Nintex Workflow. Nintex Forms is a easy product for end users, but we also expose JavaScript, jQuery, and CSS functionality, so you can do more complex things in Nintex Forms, and you have developers that can step in and assist and build some more complex functionality for you. And as you can see, Nintex Forms right now is being browser-based SharePoint, just like Nintex Workflow. So if you install Nintex Forms, you don't need any extra hardware, it all works on your hardware that you have. We also recently released a Nintex mobile solution which works add-on for Nintex Forms, and it now allows you to build forms that will work with existing iOS and Windows mobile functionality. So you'll see apps in App Stores for those devices. what Intercops can do. As you can see, this is the Nintex Forms part. So there are things that Intercops can do on the left, there are things that Nintex Forms can do there on the right, and then you'll see in the middle where we can both do the same sort of thing. And you work with somebody like Complementary Solutions to find the best solution that you need. I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Vadim. I'm going to turn it over to Pete Smith now from DocPoint Solutions, and he's going to walk you through two demonstrations of Nintex workflow. A key takeaway from this demonstration is Pete's going to build two dynamic workflows quickly on the fly, and then it's going to transition back to Vadim, who's going to build two Forms applications based on the workflows that Pete will build now. Thank you. Pete?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, like Mike said, I'm going to try and do this quickly. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my development environment here, and we've got just a simple team site set up here. And I think today we usually go from simple to more advanced type workflows, but I think I'm going to go opposite direction today, and I'm going to show you one of our more advanced workflow demonstrations first, and then kind of step back and just show you how easy it is to create something like what I'm about to show. So what I've got for you is a newsletter publication style workflow. And the way that this works is it's a multi-tiered approval process where it gives people the ability to add comments to documents, approve or decline it, and then push it forward to their manager, and then finally push it on to publication. So the first thing I want to do is actually just take a look at the workflow itself, just so you can see what it looks like within Nintex workflow, just so you can see what the creation process looks like. This is the Nintex Canvas, and this is the development environment that you'll be working in when you're creating any kind of workflow in Nintex. It's a very simple design, very user-friendly, very easy to use, which is one of the main points I want to highlight is ease of use. All of your actions are on the left-hand side, and they're all grouped into different sections here, which are pretty intuitive, and you also have some search functionality up here at the top. You can save the workflows out in the templates. You can also save snippets of a workflow. So reuse and ease of use are two of the really amazing things of this product. And so I want to show you, kind of just walk through what exactly it is this workflow is doing, what it's intended to be used for, and how it can help a business. So basically what happens is when a document is submitted, any kind of document, it usually starts out as a Word document, submitted to this library. This workflow picks it up and it starts in the initial review phase. So the person who actually submits the document and any of their peers are able to add comments to the document. Once they've added their comments here, it then moves on to the approval stage, which is the second stage of this workflow. So then the marketing manager or the manager of the person who submitted this first document here is going to get a notification to let them know that, hey, you've got a new item for approval. And then it falls down into this selecting task here, and they are able to choose one of three different outcomes, which we'll see in just a second. But they can either reject the item altogether, which just deletes the item out of the library and just stops it right there. They can approve the item, which sends it on to publication, or they can request modifications, which send it back to the initial review phase. So they have three different options here. They can do one of three things, and if they send it back to this initial review, the person who created the item gets a notification and says, hey, these were the comments, these are the things that you need to change. Go ahead and change these, and then go ahead and push it back through the approval process. And then if it gets approved, it moves on to publication, where the document is actually converted to a PDF, and then the PDF document as well as the original document are copied to a secure publication library, and then the original item is deleted out of the library where it starts. So this is one of our more advanced workflows. This is kind of just showing off the power of Nintex, how you can take a document and have it go back and forth between these different workflow paths. And easily build something like this and have a document have any level of complexity in your approval processes. So I just want to show you this workflow really quickly. Let me just close out of this and go back to my newsletters library, and I'll just go ahead and upload a document. You just find a random Word document that I've got here. This will work. And so uploading a document is what actually starts this workflow off. Obviously, in a production style environment, you wouldn't just be interacting directly with the library. You put a form on the front of it or something like that so the users aren't interacting directly with your library, but I think he's going to show you more about that kind of thing. So the first thing I want to show you is kind of the automated email and review type of workflow action, which let me drag my email over here so you can see it. So the first step of this workflow, and another thing I want to show you as well is if you actually look, there is a pretty decent audit trail that comes with this product as well. So if you look at the workflow history, you can see which workflows were run on the item. And if the workflow is in progress, you can actually see where it is in the workflow. So right now we're at the request review stage of this workflow. So I've received an item saying, you need to review this, and click here to add your comments. So I can add whatever comments I want, and I can say, Pete is amazing. And once I've added my comments, it's going to go ahead and push that on to the next stage in the workflow, which if I go ahead and refresh this, it'll show me that it's passed through the initial review phase, and now it's on to the approval stage in the workflow. So it sent out the notification to the initiator, which is, in this case, is me. So as you can see, I've got a couple more emails here. The first one was just the notification letting me know that the document's been moved on and sent out for approval. And the second one is the actual approval email that I've received. So I can click here to approve the item. And this item here, this form right here that you're seeing on your screen is totally customizable, and so is the submission form and all these things. These are all customizable, and that's something hopefully the team is going to be able to show you a little bit later with Nintex Forms. So I'm just going to go ahead and push this through and approve it. So again, if I rejected this item, it would just go ahead and delete it out. Just outright, it would just delete it, remove it from the workflow, or I could request modifications, which would then send it back to the initial review phase, and it would basically start the workflow over again. I can also add some final comments here, which we can then display on the library, or we can use these comments in another notification or something like that. Let's go ahead and just approve it and push it on to the end here. And so the final step in this workflow is for it to actually convert the document to a PDF because it was approved, and then it's going to copy the original and the PDF document up into SharePoint. So the approved publications document library is the target for this item to be copied. So if we just give it just a minute here, it will be copying it up into this library, and we should see it go ahead and disappear from the newsletter section here in just a second. So while we're waiting on that to run, I just wanted to show you another little bit of the reporting that you can see with this workflow. So this is just the workflow status screen that you can see, and you can see this for any workflow that's run on any item. You can see the outcome of any of the workflow tasks that have been run on the item, what the outcome was, who completed it, who it was assigned to. So the auditing with this product is actually pretty detailed as well out of the box. So hopefully, nope, still not done. Unfortunately, I think I picked a relatively large document, so in converting it to PDF, I think it is taking it just a second here. So let me actually, let's go ahead and move on while we wait for that to actually get transferred over to PDF and move back to this document. I'll come back to that in just a few minutes here. The other thing I wanted to show you guys was just how easy it is to put a workflow like this together. So what I've got for you is a leave request list here, which a lot of companies will use something like this to track their employees' requests for time off. So what I've done is just put a simple list together where employees can come in and they can add a new item with just their name. So we'll just add something, Pete, and they have to type in their employee ID, type 01, select the type of leave that they want to take, vacation or sick, and then they can pick, when they wanted to take the time off from, and go ahead and save that item. Now, I'm going to go into the canvas again, and I'm just going to start with a blank canvas here. And so the first thing I want to do is I just want to go ahead and send a notification and just send a receipt to the person who's created the item to let them know that their request for time off has been received. Does somebody have a question? All right, take that as a no. So I'm going to use the initiator keyword here. And this initiator keyword is the person who submitted the item to the list. So it's going to replace that, the word initiator. When the workflow actually sends the item, it's going to replace initiator with the email address of the person who created the list item. And I'm just going to give it a generic subject here. Let's call it request received. And then we'll just say your request for time off has been submitted. All right, so the next step is to go ahead and ask for an approval from that person's manager. So I like to use the FlexiTask as opposed to using the actual approval step, just because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So basically, we just drag and drop these items onto the workflow canvas and just double-click to configure them. It's a really simple configuration, really simple tool. And you can also click on the arrow here and then click on configure. So this is what the approval workflow action looks like. You type in some people who are assigned to actually approve or deny this item. So I actually want to do a lookup and do the person's manager. So in Active Directory, there is a manager selection available. So if that selection is filled out in Active Directory, you can use this manager keyword, and it'll go ahead and send that email to the person's listed manager in Active Directory. But I want to show you guys what the email looks like, so in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and type in my name. So down here you've got some different outcomes. So right now we've got either approve or reject the item, but we can actually add additional outcomes to this. So if you wanted to do an other branch, or as you saw in my last workflow, there were 3 different approval items there. It was approve or reject or send back for additional review. So right now we'll just leave it at 2. And then underneath we've got a few different behaviors. So you can change whether it's just the first person responding or whether it's a majority vote, having all the people have to agree, or having everybody have to agree on a specific outcome if you've got more than just two. And then there's just a few other selections down here. You can store the outcome as well if you wanted to use that in another part of your workflow. The task notification is what the email is actually going to look like. So right now we'll just leave it at the defaults right now. We'll just leave everything alone. And then you've got some other configuration options here, but none of these are really necessary. Not required notification just lets people know if they don't have to, if it's not required of them to approve this item anymore. So if you've got 5 people set to approve an item and 3 people have already made up the majority and the other 2 don't have to do anything, you can configure it to just let those 2 people know that they don't have to do anything else. You can set task reminders, so if the assigned person to approve the item hasn't actually approved it within 2 days or however long you set here, you can go ahead and set it up to remind them, hey, this item's not going to approve itself. And you can also set some escalation options. So if they then don't respond at all, so if you've reminded them 3 times and they haven't responded, you can go ahead and just escalate it on to somebody else. So if somebody's on vacation or something like that, it's really easy to handle that kind of scenario with Nintex. That's all there really is to it. And really we just add a couple more notifications just to let them know, hey, it was rejected or it was approved. If we want to do a multi-tiered approval process, we can just assign another. We can just drop another flexi task on here. So now we've got 2 approval steps. So if it's denied by the manager, it gets rejected, and it'll send a notification to the user and let them know, hey, your request was denied. If it gets approved, we can then push it on to the HR department or something like that and have them also approve it. And then I just want to display a little more, advanced concept here. So we can also do things like maybe pull a record out of SQL Server as well. So if I wanted to maybe connect to SQL Server and just maybe I've got a table in there that's linked to my timekeeping system that keeps track of everybody's hours, how many hours they have for vacation time and how many hours they have for sick time. So we'll just throw a database connection in here really quickly. Copy as Windows. And we'll just say we want to select, and we're going to use some properties here, so we're going to take some properties from the list item itself. So we're going to say we want to select the employee ID, we actually want to select a leave type. So we want to select either vacation or sick based on what the selection was in the list item from databases, or the database table is called leave hours. And we're just going to put a where clause on the end and say where the employee ID is equal to employee_ID. And then we just store that in a variable, call it hours, save, close, store the result in hours. And then now when we send this notification on to the marketing people, onto the HR people, which in this case is also going to be me, as part of the notification, we can just tell them this person has this number of hours left for vacation or for their sick time. So we can use this as a notification, and we can just say, you know, this person has X number of hours left. Actually messed that up. We'll try that again. I actually want to put that first. I just want to say this person has hours of So we'll send this rejection email back to the initiator. That's all there is to it, and we're done with this. So in about 10-15 minutes, I need to give it a different name. Call it sign off. So in about 10 or 15 minutes, I've created a workflow that is multi-tiered. It requests approval from 2 different sources, and it reaches out to SQL Server, does a database query, pulls back their hours, figures out how many hours they have left, and then lets the HR department know, you know, this person's got X number of sick hours left, you know, and he's requesting, you know, this many hours off. So let me publish it really quick, and I'll show you it run, and then we'll turn it over to Vadim, and he'll make it look pretty for us. Let me create a new request here. Say I want to take vacation from tomorrow until Thursday. So we're starting at 8 and we're ending at 5. And we're taking ski trips. I'm always taking ski trips. And I actually set this workflow up to be started manually. I didn't actually put a trigger on this workflow, so I'm just going to run in and go ahead and manually kick this workflow off. So let's take a look at our email here. So we've started this workflow, and hopefully I should be receiving some email here in just a second. But while we wait on that email, just to show you guys this approval publications workflow, here's my PDF, and here's the original document that was actually submitted to the newsletters library. And if we go back into newsletters, it has actually removed that original item from this document library. All right, so we got a couple of emails from our workflow here. The first one's just our receipt to let us know it's been submitted. The second one is the initial request for time off. So go ahead and approve this. Say it has fun. And let's hope my SQL query works. It's still in progress. It hasn't failed yet. That's a good sign. Oh, and as you can see, it's replaced the SQL query with the value of 25, so whichever employee ID I typed in has 25 hours of vacation time left, and it also replaced the vacation property or the leave type property with the word vacation, because I selected vacation from the actual item. So go ahead and approve that, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my ski trip. All right, so I guess now let me go ahead and turn it back over to Mike. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time, everybody, and I hope what I showed you today was informative.
So the Jim's going to take over now from Nintex. So as you saw, one of the couple of things that we wanted to talk to people today, we know with sequestration budgets are limited. So a lot of what Pete was showing you is how to do more with less, how to take your SharePoint instance of 2010 and how to use our partners like Nintex and the workflow and the Forms products really extend the capabilities of SharePoint. This is a very simple HR workflow, but it can actually work for whether the organization is 100 people or 10,000 people. It works just as easily. Now we're going to turn it over to the Jim, who's going to talk about how we extend that functionality from the enterprise out into the mobile world. The Jim?
All right, thanks, Mike. It's a great demo from me. So what I'm going to do is work off the link request pieces in M1. So when you click on this add new item, you'll see that the form that comes up is just a SharePoint form. And if you want to put your own logos on there, it's quite a bit of work. You're probably going to need to develop or some SharePoint design skills to be able to do this. What we have with Nintex Forms is that once you've built your form, you have a build up in the ribbon and you can click on that. What it will do is it will interrogate the drag all the fields and it will build up the form for you. So you can see all the forms all the fields are there. It already knows the start date, end date, and date time controls, and it's all put that there. You can simply publish this form, and then that will now become the default form for that list. Every time somebody goes to create a new item, this is the type of form they will see. And of course, you'll customize it. You'll have your own custom logo. You won't have the Nintex form like they're there. You'll have your own colors. You can put controls around, things of that nature. Now, what I would like to do is not just publish it for my internal users. I would like to make it possible that outside users are able to actually fill in the form for me. So you might be out on the road somewhere, and you might have a mobile device that you want to fill in a lead request. We can do that. You can see at the top of the ribbon, we have already some built-in layouts that come out of the box. You can see a smartphone, so we'll enable that one. We'll enable the Windows Phone, iPhone, Android, and iPad. And if I want to publish this so that you guys can see it, the participants of the webinar can see it, and I know that most of you have some sort of mobile device, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet, I'm going to use our Azure-based cloud service called Nintex Live and publish this form to the cloud. What this will do is this will create a short URL. This short URL, I'm going to allow anonymous access so that anybody can fill in this form. And I'll just make this expire on the 1st of July. So when I publish this form, you'll see a tiny URL. And what I'll do is, if you want to cast it, so what I'll do is I'll copy that. I'll put it in. I'll put it into a notepad. Mike, are you able to bring up a notepad?
Yeah, I got you, Jim. Hold on.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, you can go ahead and take it back.
Thanks. So I'll paste that URL. And if you guys have, now all the participants of the webinar, if you have a smartphone or a tablet, you can put that in, put this URL in. Just note this is case sensitive. So if there's a capital A, make sure you put a capital A. So ntx.lc/14z, so it's for lowercase, 3, capital A, lowercase o, lowercase b. And if you were to put that into a smartphone now or a tablet, you should be able to see the form on that device and be able to fill that in. So I'll leave that up for a minute or so, give you guys a chance to play. And if you have Nintex Forms and you have software assurance, you have access to the Nintex Live cloud service, so you can publish your forms to Nintex Live. You can expose these forms to internal customers. You can expose the form to people who don't have access to your network if you need them to go in and perform. So it really is a powerful feature of Nintex Forms to now expose your SharePoint environment, even though you have a security environment. You can expose a form to outside customers, outside users, without actually giving them direct access to your SharePoint environment. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. I'll put it into a browser page, and we should see what the form looks like. And you can see I can fill in the form just as you would in a SharePoint environment, but now it's a form that's in the cloud. Okay, really powerful features. So you guys are filling the form and you submit it. If I jump back to this lead request, you will look and I'll refresh this page. And after a few minutes, you will see some of your lead requests which are filled in. Now what I would like to show you is a powerful functionality in Nintex Forms called the Rules Engine. Now, if you don't have some technical people that are easily accessible or developers, and you want to customize your form, you can add rules to say hide and show. This is available to any end user. So, for example, let's say I wanted to build a form to say, if the lease type, so that's it, basically, I only want to allow for 1 day. So I really don't need to see an end date available on the form. So what I'll do is I'll create a new rule. I'll call it and my condition is that if the lease type is, and what I want to do is I want to hide this particular control. And you can see that down the bottom there's a little hide checkbox. I'm going to check this to say this rule evaluates to a true condition. Then this particular control will no longer be applicable. So it's a little bit harsh, we're saying you can only take one particular thing, but this is one way of doing this. Now what I want to do is I want to add another control. On this I'll select this index. This is the label control. And I'm going to add that to this rule as well. So that means that this label and this date time control will both hide when this particular rule is met. So I'll publish this form. You can see that during publishing you'll get a confirmation of the layout that you're going to use, and you can create custom layouts. So you can have a different, like an Android tablet that has a different layout. You can create custom layouts as well. I'll go ahead and publish this. The URL will stay the same, and then I will refresh this form. Now, when I click Save Leave, you can see the end date of control disappeared. And they'll come back if you select a different type of lead type. So this is a way of customizing the form without having to actually do any sort of JavaScript or having to use developers. Just a regular end user or business user can build some quite simple rules to change the user interface of controls. And if you're dealing with a text field on a text box, you can modify the formatting and say use different fonts, bold, all that sort of stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is jump to almost like the technical and developer side of things. So if you have a developer that wants to add some extra functionality, you can do that as well. We'll go to the settings of the form, and you can see there's a custom CSS you can add. So you can add some options, and there's already some that comes with the form. And you can also add some custom JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to say that if somebody puts in a particular word in the name field, I want to update the description. So what I'll do is I'll show you a little bit of JavaScript. But in order to do that, what I need to do is I need to access these controls through JavaScript. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a JavaScript variable and give it a name. So what I'm doing here is each object, each variable, each control in the HTML form has an ID and it's dynamically created. So I'm going to store that ID in the JavaScript variable I can use in JavaScript. So for the name field, I'm going to give it var name ID. And for the description, I'm going to do something very similar. This is called our description. So now I can use those variables to access this specific control. And this is where I go into the JavaScript file.
While the dinner is finishing up, if anybody has any questions, you should have a chance. You can type those questions in. Pete and the Din can answer those questions for you. We've got about 11 minutes left in the conference. We want to make sure. I know, Diane, you had raised your hand earlier. If you can type your question in, we'll try to make sure it's answered before the end of the conference. Go ahead, Din.
Excellent. So I've got a couple of things going to try to change. So every single one of them.
It's actually really hard when you're actually in the middle of it and you're actually doing something. It's really satisfying.
This is what you found when we want to
It's really hard to get that.
a Nintex form. And I'm going to add a few more lines where I actually get control. And control.
Everything's pretty easy. It's
pretty high level. Has the full time because you're answering questions as they go.
This is getting the name control and the description control. Since we're sort of running on a little bit of time, what I'll do is I'll just keep this simple and I'm going to set the value of the description control of the text. Because the what I'm doing is pulling out the description control and just turning a value to it. And if I was to publish this form, refresh this page. Well, it should have been still a bit of text in there. But you can see that it's actually quite simple. If you had some developers and they want to look at JavaScript in, it's quite straightforward. Always that little bracket to anything. And there you go, you can see, so I'm loading the form, it load up a little bit of JavaScript, grab this description control, and just set it up to the text. And you can add web handlers, so if I want to, select a particular type and you want to do some complex functionality in JavaScript, or maybe make a web service call, you can do that as well. So you can say, if situation selected, it can go and find out who's currently logged in, pull out the link, showing you a bit of information in the description, hide and show some controls. There's quite a lot of functionality that you can do, complex functionality with the JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So, Mike, I'll pass it back to you.
We just had one quick question from Angie to the panel, asking if the workflows can be used within my site. So either you or Pete can answer that question.
I'm happy to grab that. Yes, Nintex workflow runs throughout the SharePoint environment, so you can use it in my site, you can use any site that you need. There is a site collection feature that you activate when you want to use Nintex workflow, and then a site label that is site feature that you enable. And when you activate that site feature, that's when you start seeing the Nintex workflow options and lists, and document libraries, and you'll be able to use it in your My Site as well.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, I know we're near the end of the time. I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. And just a couple final points. And DocSwing Solutions offers a comprehensive training program. And as part of kind of an initiation or quick start package, not only can the DocSwing team help you install, configure, and train your team on enterprise workflows and forms, is that, as demonstrated today, Pete and the team at DocSwing can help you configure 2 or 3 of these workflows into your development or production environment. So when we leave working with you, you'll be up and running and helping to kind of to streamline your organization and helping save either your agency or your commercial organization money. I think we do have one final question. Go ahead,
So Angie's asking if she would be able to control what users in the organization can post on their My Site. I guess with a workflow, that probably wouldn't be the way you would want to control content on your My Site, but if you wanted to maybe, you could possibly use a search control and filter through content on My Site. So if you really wanted to use the workflow to filter your My Site content, I suppose you could do that. And if you have any more questions that you want to talk about offline, I'm gonna put an email address up on the screen here. Let's see, where is it? You can go ahead and send any questions that you've got that you want to talk about offline or anything like that to our boards at DocSwingSolutions.com.
And what we'll do is we'll take any of the questions received from the conference today, we'll put them all in a comprehensive email, and we'll send that out in the next few days. Again, thank you everybody for your time. Jim, thanks for your time, as well as Pete. Thank you for everyone who attended, and please be on the lookout for another webinar invite from DocSwing Solutions. It'll be coming soon. Thank you and have a great day. Okay.